Welcome everyone to another installment of Cinema Gibberish. I'm Josh Dayton, and I have with us today Chris Collins.
Hello, Josh.
And Catherine Marlatt.
How you doing, Catherine?
Today we are talking about John Wick and John Wick Chapter 2. This review will be full spoilers because the movies were released in 2014 and 2017.
Okay.
If you have not seen them, I will just say right up front, I would recommend them. I would say that you watch them.
Me too.
And so does Catherine.
Sounds about right.
Alright, so we are just going to jump right into things. I'm very excited about this one. I love this franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You can expect soon also that we will do a review over Chapter 3 Parabellum. I'm excited for that as well, but we're going to start with the first one. General opinions. We already said that we would recommend you see it because this is full spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
But just general, we'll just go with the first one. What do you like about it?
Me or her first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, obviously, I think that everyone can unanimously agree is very good about both these movies, but the first one, I will say, is the action. The action is the main draw of this franchise, first and foremost, and it's very good, very well done. Obviously, Keanu, and also the thing I also realized, Keanu and his commitment, his love for the action, and it's just, they do such a good job. It's such an amazing work of art, the way they do this action in the first one. They use all sorts of things, not just limited to fists and stuff. It's like, there's gun fu, and there's like fighting with cars and stuff. It's amazing. And well, also what I really love, Keanu's performance, like, given this character to any other actor in Hollywood,
It fails.
Like Bruce Willis, anything, it fails because no one can deliver these lines, these cheesy as heck lines as Keanu Reeves can. Especially probably my favorite line from the entire movie is, everyone keeps asking me if I'm back. I'm starting to think I am. Yeah, I'm back.
I'm thinking I'm back.
Yes, it's so awesome the way he delivers it, but it's such a cheesy line, but it's so awesome the way it is in the moment. It's amazing. Now, there are flaws. I will say there are flaws. I'll get to them later. But first and foremost, that is what I love about this movie, about the first John Wick.
Right. Catherine.
I think I would have to agree. I am not one for action movies. That's not my first go-to. I like to watch like older movies and romance movies and cheesy, stupid stuff that doesn't matter. But I think the action is very unique to this film, and I think
This
it's a
franchise,
very I think this franchise is very niche in like that. I can't put my finger on it, but it feels like a very
Well put together.
yeah.
Unique.
Yes,
That's
very,
it.
very
That's
unique.
very unique.
Like, and it obviously set a trend with movies to come after, because
Definitely.
like the action that you start seeing, because when did the first John Wick come out?
2014.
Late 2014. I remember like this movie was like announced like early 2014 or whatever, and a trailer didn't come out for this thing till a month before it came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone went in because like before John Wick came out, Keanu Reeves wasn't
He had been pretty radio silent for a while.
right. He had done
He was very
stuff, but
dormant.
there was like
47 Ronin.
right. Forgot about 47 Ronin. Never saw
We
it.
don't talk about it.
Okay, that's fair enough. And then this just came out and blew the doors on anybody who went and saw it, not expecting what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And who directed this movie? Do you know?
I'm going to butcher his last name, but it's Chad Stahelski, who was actually a stunt coordinator with Keanu Reeves on all 3 Matrix movies.
That sounds like it helps for it. Well, I mean,
Which is that's part of the reason why the action is given such a character, because the director has done stunt coordinating for years.
did he direct Deadpool 2?
No, I don't believe so.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead then continue. I'm going to see he directed Deadpool 2 because I feel like a John Wick director directed Deadpool 2. Because I know they didn't have the original Deadpool.
It's been the same director and writer for all 3 films, which I love, because I love when creators
Continuity.
do something and they get to do whatever they want with it. All in all, I love almost everything about
I was right. The director of the first one directed Deadpool 2.
Nice.
Really?
Yep, I knew it. Because I remember Deadpool 2. The very opening,
the opening
with the sumo
credits say,
wrestlers.
well, well, the opening credits, doesn't it say the guys who killed John Wick's dog?
Yes.
Yes, it has a reference to
Yes,
that.
it does. But yeah, in like
Which I didn't get when I saw it in theaters, but now I do.
Yeah, in the opening sequence with Deadpool, if you haven't seen the extended cut, or whatever, I own it on 4K. I've seen it. It's not as good as the theatrical cut, in my opinion. But the one redeeming part of the extended cut is the opening scene. They have this very extended fight scene with Deadpool and all these sumo wrestlers and stuff. Well, sumo wrestlers and
But we just see like a second of.
right, yeah, that you only see a second of with the Dolly Parton song '95, and it's very reminiscent of John Wick. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I know that this is not a perfect trilogy by any means,
Mhm.
because I don't think any movie is truly perfect as much as I love it. However, I truly think that the whole series in general is like the best action movie and my favorite out of almost anything.
Right.
I adore these films. So we can go with what's not your favorite about the first John Wick, Chris.
Not my favorite. It's hard to say. Actually, I want to go back to something I did like. I also really dug just about every actor. The guy who kills John Wick's dog, the redhead
Vigo's
Yeah.
son.
jerk face, Vigo. I forgot the
His son, yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, like maybe a month. But he's also in Game of Thrones, and he plays almost the same character for like the first half of the series.
Mhm.
And then a lot of stuff happens to him that I don't want to talk about because it's not family friendly. Happens to him, and he becomes this character called Reek. Yeah.
Yikes.
But it's virtually almost the same character, and they did such a good job with like how they portrayed these mafia villain-esque types, because you want to see them get the comeuppance so bad and get the crap scared out of them, and they give it to you.
And here's the other thing. Like, so many action movies are like, we have to save the world. Like, everything lays in the balance. And this is just a guy who loses everything and then gets revenge on the people who took it.
And he loses everything to him, because if anyone doesn't know what happens in John Wick, do you want to explain kind of like the basic plot line of the movie?
Yeah, so basically, the movie starts out and John Wick's wife has just passed away from cancer. So he's just lost his wife, and then she gives him this puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And he has his puppy, the memory of his wife, and his car.
And basically the puppy is his last remaining thing of his wife.
Yeah. And then these guys show up and they steal his car and kill his dog.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the son of a big mafia guy in New York.
That
So then-
worked with John Wick.
Yeah, who John Wick worked for years
Before
ago.
he retired.
So then John comes back and basically kills everything.
The Boogeyman.
Baba Yaga.
Yes. So that's just an overall summary of how it goes.
And I want to say that might be one of my favorite scenes is when Vigo's like explaining to his
Yeah.
son how much he just messed
Yeah.
up. He's like he doesn't say his name for like the entire scene. He doesn't say John Wick the entire
Yeah.
scene. He's like, do you realize who you just like?
And
whose
everyone
dog you
in
just
the
killed?"
universe, like everyone in this world they built,
Except for him.
yeah, like knows him. Like
Yes.
it's like he
He's
gets
the
like,
Boogeyman. I saw him kill 3 guys
He's
with a pencil.
infamous.
Yes.
like Vigo gets a phone call and he's like he calls this mechanic guy that
I
works for him.
I absolutely think I
Um,
love about John Wick is his phone calls.
Yeah, Aurelio the mechanic smacks the mob boss Vigo's son.
Yes.
Because he stole John Wick's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then his father Vigo, the head guy, calls the mechanic and says, "I heard that you hit my son today." And he goes, "Yeah, he stole John Wick's car." And he
He's
goes,
like-
"Oh," and then just hangs up the phone.
And then he goes,
Yeah.
I don't know if John Wick calls him or
No, he calls-
He calls John Wick trying to apologize, and John Wick just, I don't remember what he said.
He doesn't say anything, and like Vigo's saying all this
Yeah,
stuff.
he's trying
and
to
then-
apologize, he just hangs up in the middle of them.
And
I'm
then
like, "Fudge, it's
the
so
mayhem
cool."
guy is that Allstate? The mayhem guy.
Oh, he's in it? Oh, he is in it. He's like the,
and he's
the
like,
henchman.
"What did John say?" And Vigo goes, "Enough." He
Yeah.
doesn't say anything.
Oh, good.
Like, he's so infamous in this universe.
So
and
awesome.
I love
It's my
that.
favorite scene in the entire movie is no action. It's just amazing because they're like, this dude is insane. He's nuts. You don't mess with him. And especially, you don't kill his dog and steal his car. The only 2 things he has in this world. And just him explaining to his son's like, what? He's just a guy. He's just a guy. He slaps him around. He throws him on the ground. He's like, that's John Wick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Big mistake. We can sit here and praise every aspect
Yeah.
of it forever.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you don't think you love so much?
Actually, I want to hear Kyler's thoughts because we've kind of been just talking over. I want to
Yeah.
hear what she didn't like about it.
You know what? it's hard for me to like pinpoint anything about this movie and be like, I dislike this, because as a whole, I think that me looking at a movie is mostly just how it made me feel, and this movie left me like in awe. I hadn't heard of this until Josh and I became friends, and I saw it late last year, early this year.
Early this year was February, March.
And I watched the first one and the second one in a row. And I loved them.
And then we saw Parabellum opening night. And my jaw was dropped through the entire first movie.
I don't blame you.
I think the only thing that I can genuinely say that I had to like look away from the screen was when the dog died.
Yeah.
That just upset me.
They showed it though completely though. They showed his dead body.
I could not tell you because I did not look throughout that entire part.
I don't remember how they did it, but I was scared to look too, but I did anyway.
I
like,
did not look. I knew that if I looked at that it would spoil the whole movie for me, and I wouldn't enjoy it because I'd be thinking about the dead dog.
Right.
So I just told Josh to tell me to look when it was over, and it was.
Okay, so I guess to get onto what I didn't like, I will bring up my list, but I will talk about one thing I remember I didn't like was the final battle after like the whole car chase thing that I thought was really cool. Was just the final fight between Vigo and John Wick.
Yeah. And
it doesn't really make a lot of sense because John Wick, I know he's kind of hurt, pretty badly hurt, but still like...
He still takes him any day.
Right, and like I don't know why he even does it. Like I feel like John Wick, like in that moment, the final battle is Vigo and John Wick on like this sort of like
in the rain.
dock in the rain,
Mm-hmm.
and Vigo's like, let's finish this like men, and so John Wick's like, all right, throws his gun down and fist fights him, and he struggles to fight him, and I'm like,
well, I agree with you. I think after everything we see, that feels a bit weaker.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot more of like a symbolism thing of like
maybe like more satisfaction.
And I think that, I mean, yeah, he's tired, but also think of the 2 days he had of like just beating people.
Yeah.
And he had the injury, and he then reopened the injury, and he was hit by a few cars, and
I mean, still we see later in other movies that like he gets hurt worse. He still does a lot more
damage
bad,
and does more.
But he's also been retired for
this
an amount of years.
I don't know if I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt there, but that's okay. It's still like it's not that big of a deal.
It doesn't ruin it for you. It's just, I get it. It is a little bit of like a
little bit, but it's still like it still doesn't destroy the rest of the movie for me. I think another thing I don't like is I really on my list here, like I don't show there being a lot that I don't like. There's two things I have here. I have length of movie, maybe. And then I have ending. But the length, I can't. I remember I felt like I think it was definitely the ending that made it feel just maybe a tad too long.
Now, is it the ending fight scene or the way, or what's after that you have the problem with?
Are you talking about when he goes and gets the dog?
Right, because at the end of it, he fights Vigo, and then he goes and gets the dog, and then walks off into the night.
Right, I don't have a problem with that. I feel like maybe especially the last could have been cut down, or it maybe was just a little bit too long because it felt like that scene dragged on. Because I was hoping it wasn't even that satisfying, but I was still okay with it. It doesn't compromise the entire movie still, but still, it was weird. I can't explain it, but regardless, what about you? What didn't you like about John Wick?
I do agree with you that the end fight scene is a little meh.
Yeah.
In general, that's such a tough one because I adore.
You spend most of your life.
films.
I can confirm he spends most of his life praising this movie.
Also, I will say this: what's impressive about these movies is that there's a lot of action in these movies, and at a point you think you would get at least some repetitive because if you do look, they kind of use some of the same moves and stuff, but still. It's always feeling fresh. You're still on the edge of your seat, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make that sound, but regardless,
Yeah.
I think they do. The action is just phenomenal in these movies.
Well, and
this movie in particular.
I remember the first time I watched it, you telling me that in the club scene in the first movie,
I have that on my favorite list. One of the things I like.
has the temp. Well, not only how good it is, but he had a 104-degree temperature
He
when
showed
filmed
up
it.
on set to film the Red Circle
know
Club
that.
fight scene,
I didn't know that.
which we have a picture of that we'll get to as we go through some stuff. But he had 104-degree temperature the day of filming that.
Yeah.
And he learned the choreography and filmed the same day.
Yeah.
But like, Keanu is amazing. Not only is he like an
Incredibly
awesome
dedicated.
actor, like dedicated actor, but like if you've heard about the things he's done for other people like Offset and stuff, like he literally lives like an average lifestyle. But like I think it was one of the Matrix movies, as like a kind of like a thank you and stuff, because to the like all the stunt team on Matrix Lore, he gave them all a motorcycle. Each one of them got a motorcycle from him.
Yeah.
Because, well, to be fair, he got like $250 million for that movie.
Yeah.
Like per Matrix, just to be clear.
Yeah, but I think this was just for the third one, maybe. But yeah, he gave like all these guys a motorcycle as a thank you, because he always like, is talking, sitting with like the other like crew that people like celebrities and actors usually wouldn't talk to. And also, I remember he also has like this charity that. Like he doesn't have his name touched to or anything. He just has a charity that he visits sometimes that he funds all the time and stuff. It's very awesome. Yeah. He's such a cool, down to earth dude.
Well, he's had a hard life, but
I've heard.
I want to touch on just some important aspects of this. I want to talk about Marcus, who William Dafoe
I
plays.
forgot he was in this movie.
I
forgot he was in this movie.
Marcus is one of my favorite characters in the trilogy.
Really?
Yeah, I love that character because in this universe, all these assassins are trying to kill him, and you think that Marcus is trying to kill him.
Yes.
But they're friends, so he helps them the whole time.
Yes.
While
While pretending he's gonna try and kill him.
yeah, he dies for it in the end.
Rest in peace.
Which upset me greatly. But
Yeah.
I understand.
I think it was an honorable death though.
it
was
was
very
because
much
he took out 3 guys.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Did he take himself out?
No. Another
Vigo?
character did, who we'll get to in this.
Okay, I think okay.
But I love his character so much because he shows up at his wife's funeral, and you're like, who is this guy? Because when you're watching
Green
it,
Goblin.
yeah, you're like, what connection does he have?
Also, like in a lot of movies, he plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
the only times I've seen him play a good guy is this movie and Platoon. Check out Platoon if you haven't seen it.
But I love Marcus's character a lot.
Me too.
Oh, there's the puppy. I love the puppy so much. That whole opening before the action hits.
Yeah, it takes a while for the action to hit too.
Yeah.
And that very first action scene was really cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he takes down 12 guys in his house.
Because like they send a barrage of guys to his house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they send?
Well,
him
because
to
he's like,
Is that after he threatened his?
he's like, oh, John Wick's mad.
Yes. At
Yeah,
least
let's try
hold
it.
him off.
Yeah, didn't work.
Nope. It was very
Because
cool.
Mayhem guy is like, how many men should we send? And Vigo's like, how many men do you have? Because he knows.
Yeah.
What
Baba
he needs.
Yaga.
Yeah. Well, there's his mad scene. He hangs up on the phone with Vigo.
And that's when I love this scene too, because
Yeah, where he's
he's
doing the
sledgehammering.
monologue as he's like.
Yes, and he's opening
Yeah.
like this concrete ground to get all of his old stuff back. Because I didn't know how long had he been retired for? Because I didn't know.
I have no
I
idea.
think it's 5 or more years.
Wow. Okay.
It isn't.
I
I don't think it's generally like specified, but I
Okay.
think he's been out for about 5 years.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. That's just what I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But yes, that's a fantastic scene as well. There's Vigo, who I think he's a great bad guy. We'll
Yeah.
talk about the bad
Yeah.
guy in the second one here in a bit.
Absolutely.
But Vigo, I think, brilliant. I love his character.
Mm. Because like, he just maybe pushes past the two-dimensional villain for me just a little bit. He's almost 3-dimensional. Like, it seems in the beginning he seems to care about John Wick a little bit, but he's also very scared of him. And then towards the end, he just starts trying to kill John Wick throughout the entire thing. But regardless, I think there was some dimension there. To me, he's not like all that great of a villain. I think a lot of the things he did was really cool. But I mean, I feel like other, action villains like Thanos or Loki or anything like that, I feel like they have more dimensions to them, which I think makes a perfect and great villain. Or unless it's Heath Ledger's Joker, he's just crazy. That's
think-
what makes a character.
As a whole, most of the characters in this film have a lot of depth that is very lacking in most action movies.
That is true.
You mainly
That's
see
very
like very basic protagonist-antagonist dynamic.
I also love how there's like little to no explosions in this movie
Yeah.
too. This action flick.
I want to reference, like, in terms of that, let's bring up The Commuter, because I love to talk about Liam Neeson. But The Commuter is a Liam Neeson action film where he's on a train.
It is very starkly protagonist against antagonist until the very end.
Yeah, and there's no depth at all except for, I will not do this, but like this.
I won't do
Liam
this.
Neeson
I won't
movie
do
ever
this.
now.
I will not do
Every
this.
Liam Neeson action movie.
But this
Yes.
has a story which is really nice.
Oh yeah, I will say that I think every actor nails their characters in this movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
For sure.
here's the Red Circle Club scene.
Yes.
Brilliant scene.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Choreography to a T was absolutely incredible.
Yes, and I love how like Viggo's son was chilling in a hotel for like most of
Mhm.
it.
And he's like,
until-
I'm not afraid of John Wick, and then he shows up, and he's like, oh crap,
And then he's
I'm
terrified
afraid
of John
Wick.
Yeah.
And he's running through the club in only a towel, like, he's coming!
Yeah.
And all these other guys like, ah, and they like, and then he just takes them down.
Oh, by the way, the thing I love about John Wick, by the way, is the headshots. The motherfucking headshots is insane.
Well, he's not
Mhm.
dumb. That's the thing.
exactly.
He doesn't want him getting back up.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Like, if he's not shooting you in the head, he's probably shooting somewhere else so he can shoot you in the head.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, and he doesn't walk in this club with reckless abandon and just like
I love,
shoot up the
love
place.
In these movies, like, it shows like all these setup scenes and just his thought process. He's super intelligent. He's not just like
Mhm.
a bloodthirsty, crazy animal guy. He's
He's
intelligent.
killing the people he needs to kill to get what he wants.
He's a master tactician.
He's not
Yes.
walking out and just like they're not increasing a body count for no reason for the sake of like gore and a good action movie.
Also, one thing so many movies don't do. We see John Wick have to reload his weapons.
Yeah.
It's not just, I can pull
Amazing.
this trigger
And then
forever.
we also see him run out of like ammo and have
Yeah.
to get a new gun.
Yeah, or like
Mhm.
improvise. And most action movies are like, I can just pull the trigger forever. And I
Yeah.
guess they reloaded in a scene we didn't see, but like we see him struggle
Yes.
and like do that. And I love that so
It's
much.
awesome.
It's
Except in
realism.
Red, where they have the machine gun and they just keep reloading it.
I do like
Parking
Red.
garage. Yeah.
Are we
Right
talking
there.
About her or the hotel?
Both.
Okay.
Um,
Let's go for it because the hotel's really cool.
Yeah, the
That's
Continental.
The lore behind
probably
this
the
movie.
coolest like lore part of this movie.
Easiest way to explain it is this world is full of assassins.
Yes.
Think about base and tag, where like if Chris is it and he runs at me, if I'm on base, he can't tag me.
Right.
The Continental is a set of hotels across the globe
Yes.
where assassins can enter, and there are two rules: you can't kill anyone on Continental grounds,
Uh-huh.
like because like it's the base and tag
Yes.
element. There is no business.
Oh, by the way, I forgot about him too. I love his performance in here too. The guy who
Mhm.
runs the Continentals.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's
Ian
amazing.
McShane.
Yes. He's a
Brilliant
very
actor.
much so, too.
Absolutely.
I love him.
He's
to
amazing in this.
Amazing.
He's also
He-
in Hellboy, but don't go see that movie.
He's also
No,
in
we
Hot
don't talk about
Rod
it.
with Andy Samberg.
He absolutely
Um,
is. And he is also plays a stellar performance in Hot Rod.
Yes.
I don't think I'll ever see something besides maybe Hellboy that I won't like that he's in.
He is brilliant. Winston is a great character.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
What,
this is-
what was the second rule, by the way?
Hmm?
The second rule of the Continental.
Well, the second rule. Okay, the two rules of the high table is what it is.
Yes.
But the second one doesn't apply in this movie.
It's the markers one.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
we'll-
that's
we'll
right.
get back to
That
that.
is right.
But the
That's-
Continental
Comes
rule
back.
That's
is
sometimes it comes to second.
Comes back around.
yeah, at the hotel, no business on Continental grounds. Also Sharon, the concierge. He
Absolutely,
is
without a
fantastic.
doubt, one of my
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
characters.
Yeah, I love him.
Who's the actor? Who's the actor?
I don't know his name. He's in so many things, in small roles.
He doesn't even get a name until Parabellum.
Yeah, we don't audibly hear his name.
Until Parabellum.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know that he's done a lot of small roles. He was in 3 episodes
He's
of The Blacklist.
Absolutely wonderful
I never
actor.
watched The Blacklist.
It's brilliant. Watch it.
He is Lance Reddick.
Lance
So,
Reddick. Yes, he is.
Thank you to you, Lance.
Yeah.
I love his character. Adrian Bachelli. I don't remember the name of this character because I hate her.
Yeah.
You hate her.
Well, I understand her. I hate her simply because I root for John Wick.
Okay, so
She's a good character because she does her job.
Miss Perkins.
Miss Perkins, that's it. She's the one who ends up killing Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries
That's
to kill
what it is.
John on Continental grounds, which is a
Yes.
no-no. And
Big
then
no-no.
she gets excommunicadoed at the
Yes,
end.
she is very dumb.
Which
in
means
that
a
sense.
circle of hotel employees shoot you all at once and then walk away.
Yes.
Until Parabellum.
Well, we can't talk about.
Guys, I haven't seen Parabellum.
We can't talk about.
Well,
that
you know,
right now.
we've seen the second one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is we'll
We'll
get
get
to
to
the ending of
Yeah.
this.
Anyway,
But her character is great and does her job because it makes me hate her because
Yes.
she
Mhm.
is against John Wick.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
And my favorite is when she gets shot at the end 8 times.
yeah, because I'm like, I remember she like basically spits in the face of Winston. She's like saying, "Oh, these rules don't mean nothing," and then they all just like gang up on her at the end, like, "Are you sure?" Pow, 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 pow.
Yeah, she's like, I don't need the rules. And then she's in the park and he walks up and goes, Miss Perkins, you have broken the rules and therefore are excommunicado. And then she gets shot a ton of times.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Oh.
excommunicado.
But yeah, overall, this movie, in my personal opinion, see, I don't think I can do a trilogy rank until we talk about the third one and have all of it.
Yeah.
Out of these two,
Mhm.
it is very, very close for me. There are elements that I like more in one of them than the other. It is really tough for me. But I think that Chapter 2 is just above this one for me.
Me too.
But I love this movie.
Thought I was gonna be alone.
Do we want to go into ratings?
Do you guys want to thought? Do you want
Yeah,
to
Sure. Let's go for it.
Do you want to final thoughts or?
I think in general, I just really appreciate this film standalone and as part of a trilogy, and I appreciate Keanu Reeves as a person and as an actor. I think he's incredible in most things, and I don't know. I really like the lore behind the movie, and I think it's really easy to get lost in that story, which is very good for the franchise.
Yeah.
I
would be happy to sit down and watch 20 more John Wick movies.
Well, that's a lot of movies. My final thoughts, I would say that I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I saw it 5 years after it came out, so I was a little late to the party. But
Me too.
it's definitely worth watching if you're a fan of action movies. If you're like opposed to like, blood and gore and like just violence, don't see it. But there is really an art to action, and it's very much capitalized and shown here in these movies. And that these things have a story to themselves. It's amazing. Purely to see the hard work that goes into it, especially for Keanu Reeves, not only for his performance, but also not his performance, but just the things he can do in the climate and the environment he had to do it in. Like,
Well, and carrying on that legacy in the next however many there will
like
be.
his hard work for sure, and all the crew and cast of this movie needs to be like appreciated and at least shown if you can't handle action, like blood and gore stuff like this, because it is rated R, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes.
They're all rated R.
Yes.
For good reason.
So yeah, rating time.
Catherine, would you like to go first?
I do not have the scale, but I would say definitely 10, see it on opening night. I absolutely love this movie, and it's definitely something that I will be able to enjoy for a long time.
Chris.
Okay, I would say see it opening weekend, or maybe just see it on. I forgot what see it in theaters. It's not
Number
8. So it's an 8, but see it in theaters. It's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the mean, but it's very well made, and the story itself isn't like incredibly like impressive. It's the action and the performances that make this movie. And the ending, I remember I said that it is a bit anticlimactic in that way, but overall it's a very good time to watch.
You know what hurts me is that you gave Detective Pikachu a 7 and you gave John Wick an 8. And to me, those are very starkly different.
Okay, my bad. I like both the movies.
I'm a huge movie guy. I love movies.
Me too.
It's my thing. And when I come out of a movie to a point where you could at any point in time suggest to me to watch it, and I would say yes, even whether it has its flaws, whatever it may be, it's just when I full-heartedly support something, like it's so high up for me. So I will definitely give it see it opening night a 10, because just in general I adore these movies.
All right.
Yeah. All right, now it is time to move on to Chapter 2. And I think that picture right there perfectly illustrates.
Absolutely.
I
Chapter
never
2.
thought about that, but yeah.
So again, with this movie, it came out in 2017. We are doing full spoilers.
What was it, March of 2017?
February.
February 2017.
Yeah.
I wonder, wait, who directed that one?
Same
all the way
director,
through.
same writer, same composer.
Mm-hmm.
Which is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So, just general thoughts on this one. Catherine, you can start.
I would have to say I would rank this one just a little bit higher than the first one. I think it exceeded all my expectations, especially considering it's a sequel. Usually sequels are not the greatest in my eyes. I'm not into like cinematic universes and things like that. So sequel to me usually means like cash grab and
Madagascar 2.
yeah.
I love that. That's my favorite Madagascar.
How dare you?
Okay, Madagascar 3.
That
Something
yeah.
circus?
Yeah.
Circus? Whatever.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Madagascar, but they're in Europe.
But I think just to me, sequel definitely connotates like cash grab BS. Doesn't
It
matter.
depends. There's a story to tell.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's the
Story to
point.
But I think with this one, like Chris just said, there's a story to tell. And there's something there that wasn't resolved in the first one that gets brought up again. And something that I didn't really even think of, and I watched these movies consecutively. So I very much enjoyed it.
Well, me, I was very impressed by this movie because the first one was very good. I gave it the see it in theaters.
An 8.
Yes. And this one, it's because I remember when this came out back in 2017. I remember the review saying that it was like not as good as the first one. Like it's good, but it's not. It just doesn't capture the just capture the magic of the first one. But I watched this and I was like, this like it does such a good job of not only like it makes sense. The story makes sense why they keep telling this story. It makes a lot of sense. And the way they integrated that story with, obviously the performances are just as good in this one, maybe even better in this one than the first one. And the action's I think the action's even better in this one. I love the action to death in this one. It's amazing. And
Absolutely
I just
agree.
love probably my favorite thing about this movie is how they seamlessly just expanded the world and lore of this movie, because that is what you're supposed to do with a sequel. First movie of a trilogy, you introduce the characters and some of the world. Second movie, you expand the world. You show what it is, and they did a beautiful job of it with this movie.
Absolutely.
I would agree. I think that I adore the first one, and the scale is pretty big, like in terms of like what's happening in action wise. But
Okay. Yeah.
they turned the scale up.
I'm pretty sure the budget was probably bigger for this movie.
Yeah.
too.
Okay. So the first John Wick had a budget of about $20 million.
And it made its money back.
And it made around $80
Yeah.
million. The second one got double the budget and
So
made
$40 million?
Yeah, and it made a little over $100 million.
Yeah.
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 So they do quite well for niche action movies.
Yeah.
But in general, the scale of this one, they up it. Like you said, they expand the world. I love the world these movies are set.
So do I, because I remember when they people were talking about these movies when they come out, they were talking about how much they like the world. But like from an outside perspective, when I was hearing about these movies, I was like, I don't know if I would like the world that much, because just kind of like, just from looking at like the posters and stuff, it was off-putting. I'm like, I don't think the world would be that cool. But now having seen these movies, the world is insanely awesome.
It's so deep for an action movie,
Yes.
and I love
Yes.
it so
It's
much.
very immersive. It feels like you could just watch it.
My
For
only
hours and get
okay,
lost
so
in
I
that
haven't seen
world.
chapter 3 yet, but my only hope is that like I don't want them to expand it too much now, because like I feel like that's my problem with some other like cinematic universes is like they expand it
They push it too
and
far.
and now like there's like some when you expand something so much, some things just like that you've seen before or some things that seem are going on just kind of seem meaningless.
Right.
Like so like if we so imagine like the first time you see a Superman movie and you see Superman saving cats and saving people falling off in buildings, which I'm pretty sure might have happened in the first Superman movie.
Yes.
And then you cut to Man of Steel, which not the same continuity, but like they've expanded it to where like
He
now
saves an oil rig.
right oil rig, but also there's all these aliens coming down. Lasers are all over the place. There's like a sort of magic lost when you're expanding so much, and
color lost.
Ha ha ha.
No, because Zack Snyder's movies are great.
well, I mean they used to when they used to direct stuff before stuff happened.
The incident.
Yeah, but yeah, I get your point.
Yeah.
So we can do dislikes, Catherine.
I think my biggest dislike for me is I was very unsettled, I guess. The scene in
The redhead?
the lady at the high table.
Yeah, the
whatever.
one-
Yeah.
I really dug
His
that.
scene
we're
with
gonna.
her.
I
Yes,
dug that scene.
we will get into that.
I dug
I
that
don't
scene.
know why, but just something about it made me feel very like uncomfy, and it was very eerie to me.
I really love that.
And
scene.
looking back, it was a beautiful scene, and it's not that the scene was bad. It just like the way it made me feel was a little odd, and it felt like the shots were a little too long, or it was like something in there, like the magic was lost there for a little bit, and it didn't feel right to me.
Also, that is what I also love about this movie. It's like there is an even more sense of like a lot of these assassins actually do care about each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like these aren't all just like cold-hearted beasts, all just trying to make money by.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a handful of those.
There's a handful of those, but like they show a lot of, especially when people interact with John Wick.
Like Common.
Well, this franchise in general.
Is his name Common?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually really loved that first scene with him talking to.
Yeah.
Anyways.
We'll get to that.
I think both of the movies do a great job at giving depth to characters, especially in the second one, because you realize like when you think assassin, you think of a very like cold-hearted
Yeah.
and very unfeeling person,
like a Jason
and it
Statham.
brings back that
Yeah.
sort of realness to Jason Statham.
These are people, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you think like, okay, these are humans with emotions and feelings.
What were you saying you didn't like though? I forgot.
That
just
scene-
made her-
Just
Okay.
for some reason, it made me really uncomfy. But that's
Anything
really my
else?
only qualm.
What about you, Chris?
I really, for some reason, I have a very hard time. Like, I would have to be very nitpicky to find something I didn't like, because I dug just about, I love the finale of this movie. I thought the finale of this movie was amazing.
You didn't think it was too long?
Absolutely agree.
No, man, I loved it. It was amazing. I was like clenching my butt cheeks and like on the edge of my couch, like, You gotta go out. I was like, no.
So what would your nitpick be?
My nitpicks, maybe just one. I mean, I remember just one part where him and Cassian, or
Yeah.
Cassian.
His real life name is
His name's
Common,
Common, yeah.
But his name is
I
Cassian
looked that
in the movie.
up. And their first fight scene thing, where they go down the stairs, I think that might have been just a bit too long of a fight scene, but still ends very cool. I love the way
I
it
think that's
ended.
great. Yeah, we'll get back to that for sure.
But yeah, again, I really don't have any nitpicks of this movie.
Yeah, I think that overall, I think that it's great.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to like go a little bit nitpicky, I think I'm gonna steal your thing, and the mirror room action scene I think goes a little too long for me. Only
It's
because
a bit too.
there's some dead space in there where like I'm like random like I want to see him kill D'Antonio now, and then there's just like all this like
Yeah, it's very.
it's such a cool setting for an action.
I do.
scene.
It's very
Yeah.
well shot too.
Yeah, but there's just those parts in there that make me.
There are small
Also,
moments where
I almost
there's a little bit too
forgot.
much
Like,
anticipation.
I almost forgot how Willem Dafoe was on the first one. I almost forgot Ruby Rose was on this one.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll get to her too.
Also, normalizing the deaf. Let's put that out there.
Normalizing the death.
Yeah, she's deaf.
She's deaf in the movie.
Oh yeah, that's why she doesn't talk.
Yeah, and she
Forgot.
signs and
And
subtitles
it's one of
come
the
on
only
the screen.
movies.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
like they
one of the
highlight
only
specific
movies.
words too.
One of the only movies I can think of where like there's a deaf character
And
and
it's
that's
not
not
like
a main personality trait and it's
That's
not.
what I love about like a lot of movies now. Like, have you guys seen A Star Is Born?
I have not actually. I read the book.
I haven't seen the new.
Okay, so the new one with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. There's a scene at the
Spoilers
beginning.
for A Star Is
Sorry,
Born.
sorry,
2018.
we're going off topic for some
Spoilers.
reason, but
Yeah, it's right
sort
here.
of-
It's
Over
right
Catherine's
here.
face.
Sort of
Right
deals
here.
with this. I mean, it's not a big point. It happens at the beginning, but Bradley Cooper's character is like trying to find a place to drink, and he accidentally goes into this like transvestite gay bar,
Mm-hmm.
and like they don't make it a joke or anything. He just walks in, and people are like, you, oh, you're the famous guy, because he plays a famous singer, and he goes in and like he sits at the bar, gets a beer, and the guy's like, I didn't know you were gay. He's like, oh, I'm not. He's like, oh, all right, and there's no jokes or anything, and then like there are a few characters in that bar, the transvestite, that actually are really cool characters throughout the movie. And I think that's really cool that movies are doing that now, like gay and deaf or blind. They're not main personality traits of these characters. Like these people
Things
have
that are
more,
usually stereotyped
right?
are just becoming like
they're
a
more,
normal
like
mainstream.
these people like have feelings and stuff.
Well, and it isn't a personality trait.
Right, exactly. Like it's not like
It doesn't build who you are as a person. It
I'm
doesn't build a
gay.
character.
I'm always gay.
They
I always talk
only
about being
use
gay.
her
Yeah.
deafness for one kind of joke thing, and that's because it's funny.
Yeah, it is
Like,
very funny.
Because like, she's trying to like tell him to wait a second, and she like is going to sign it, and then puts up her middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's just like that isn't like,
And that's just
haha,
props to
I'm
being
deaf.
deaf.
That's just like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of go through this one. So it picks up right where the first one ends. He's going to get his car back.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't realize you didn't get back at the beginning of the
No,
first film.
because
It
just,
the
like, gets
hotel
glossed over.
the hotel gives him a different car to leave in as a gift because
right.
he was attacked in his hotel room.
I was so confused at the beginning. I thought like maybe like someone, because I thought someone else had killed his new dog and stolen his car again. I was like, are we really gonna retread the same thing again? But I realized, oh no, this is just.
Yeah. He just still doesn't have his car.
I love the ending of that. There are so many. I love the way they end their action scenes in this movie. They
Yeah.
do it so
First
well.
of all, wicked cool action sequence.
Yes.
Where he's hitting
Absolutely.
people with a car and
Then we
getting hit by
Absolutely.
cars. And
Yeah.
all of this stuff, and he
Well,
like
and-
doesn't use a gun almost the whole time.
Vigo's
Yeah.
what
Vigo's
is it,
brother.
Yeah. And he talks about his
And they do a
nephew
really
being
good
uncle.
job
Yeah.
of like kind of rehashing. Like if you come into this one without seeing the first one,
Yeah. Which
he's
I
like,
don't know
oh,
why
here,
you would. It says two.
yeah, but he's like, oh, here's John Wick, and like he is infamous, and here's why, and they
And not
gloss
in a
over that.
like, and it's not like, hey, if you haven't seen it, here's all of this information.
No, but it
It's
gives
just
you,
a little refresher to be like, hey, here's some groundwork if you didn't go see the first one, but if you
Right.
did,
That's a super cool action sequence,
And I love the way they ended, because he comes up to he kills everyone but Vigo's brother. And he
Mhm.
comes up to Vigo's brother, and it looks like he's about to kill him. I don't remember how it goes exactly.
he pours 2 shots
Yes,
of
he
vodka
pours 2.
and slides it to him, and is like,
two
truce,
shots.
I got
of
my car,
vodka.
I don't care about you anymore.
Basically,
Yeah.
and then just leaves. And that's the last we see of that character.
Then John goes home, and our main villain
What's his name?
shows up. So I'm gonna butcher the first name because it's French. Senor D'Antonio,
Is it French? I thought it was like more like Spain. or
something like that. It's Spanish or French. His origin is not clear.
Regardless,
Yeah.
at first they don't like really like they showed like he's kind of friends with.
Yeah,
him.
he knows John from the past.
Also, I love the cop in these 2 movies. It's like,
Yeah.
like
even
I forgot
Jimmy-
the first one. He's
Yeah,
like, oh,
Jimmy-
you working again?
Yeah.
No, just taking care of something.
But D'Antonio brings up the second. So in the assassin world, which we get more into, everything is governed by the high table, and there are 2 rules, which is no business on continental grounds, and you must honor your marker.
Yep.
Markers are basically like, hey Chris, thanks for doing this, I owe you a favor. Except it's a blood pact, so there's these circles, and you like put your thumbprint in it in blood, and then you give it to somebody, and then if they come to you with it, you have to do what they need,
do whatever they ask.
or you get killed.
yes.
You have to honor it.
Yep.
And John's like, dude, I just did this, but I'm retired.
He's like, don't
leave
ask
me out
to
of
do
it.
this.
And D'Antonio's like, okay. And then he burns his house
Well, no,
down.
D'Antonio like went into his house and tried to convince him to, and then finally he's like,
Yeah.
fine.
He's like,
Burns
fine,
his
I'll
house
leave.
down.
Burns just blows it up.
Yeah, it's gone. But he and his dog, who is just called
Survived.
Dog.
Which I'm glad the dog survived. I've been so upset. I'm like, don't keep killing dogs every movie. That you only need to kill a dog, 1 dog. That's
Yeah.
it. Otherwise, I'm gonna feel that you're.
Dog is my favorite. He doesn't have a name.
He's hardly in
He
the
does
movie.
not have a name.
But he just refers to him
He's
as
the
good
best.
dog.
Yeah.
But I think that's really funny. So John like has to go to New York because he wrecked his car, like he totaled it,
Yeah.
getting it back.
Yeah, and then he like gave it to what's his face?
Aurelio,
Yeah, Aurelio.
mechanic on the first one. So he walks back to the Continental and he's like, "Hey, like I want him," and like he's like, "No," and Winston is like, "You need to honor your marker or you're gonna be in trouble."
Yeah.
there is D'Antonio.
Yes. Who? Do we want to talk about D'Antonio? As like a character or whatever.
I think that'll come in when we explain what happens. So his favor, so John goes to him and is like, okay, whatever, I'll do the marker. And he's like, okay. My sister's on the high table because it was our dad's seat. He's died, but he willed
gave
it to her. I want that seat, so
I need you to go kill her.
yeah, you kill her, you're free of the marker.
And like, if you kill like a member of the high chair, you're dead basically.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, oh no.
So basically, either way, he's basically sent John Wick to death. Either way.
Yeah, and that's kind of, but at first you don't really see his real motives, kind of, because he doesn't like flat out say them.
Yeah.
He's like, I want her seat, like, I want it, it's power, give it to me.
Well, and I think he plays a very good villain because from the very start until the very end, I absolutely am rooting for him to just die a horrible death.
Yeah, you hate it.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. And I think that is done so well. Is like the characters that you are supposed to dislike, you do.
Yeah. This is his sister.
This is one of my
which is
favorite
the
scenes.
scene that made
Not my
Catherine
favorite scene.
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
John goes,
this made me very
When we get to
uncomfy.
my favorite scene, I will say it and I will explode about it, but we'll talk about this.
It
so
does make me very
John has to go to
uncomfortable.
Rome, and he stays at the Rome Continental,
Yes.
which is very cool because like he gets a
You
new
can
see
see,
like
very
the
suit,
whole, yep.
and you see how the Continental like how
Yeah,
they
and the
suit
whole
up.
gear up scene, like going together, like
Yeah.
going to the different people, giving them guns and ammo and stuff, and the
Well, and
suit.
really going back into that
amazing.
lore and getting lost in
Yeah,
that world.
so cool. And I want to talk about what I love about the scene. So he sneaks into where she's at. It's at this weird like.
It's her
Coliseum
induction
party.
ceremony to the high table, is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And it's
And
in
she's
Rome.
in like her chambers.
yes, and she basically she realizes why he's here, and so she gets in the hot tub, or whatever was this big
It's like
pool,
a bath
Yeah,
sort
bath
of
thing.
type of
Yeah.
thing.
and she sits there and
She's talking to John, who's got a gun on her the whole time.
right,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have the. I don't think he has the gun drawn on. Like he doesn't have it pointing on her.
No, but he just has it like in his
Yes,
hand. 'Cause
and
he's gonna
so
shoot
she
her.
gets in the tub and she slits her wrist.
Yeah.
And
Her
she's-
whole thing is that if she's
If
gonna
she's
die,
gonna die, it's gonna be by her own blade.
Yes,
not
and
by
I love that.
someone's.
Like she's like sacrificed herself because she she cares about John.
I genuinely think it's just because she's a naked woman over 50 that it makes me super uncomfy.
And then what I loved most about the scene was when as she's dying, like John Wick grabs her hand, and I'm like, there is like legit
There's
like
a lot of emotion.
caring about people here.
yeah.
And then he puts a bullet in her head, which I don't know why he needed to do that.
Make
She
sure
was-
she's.
I mean, he probably ended suffering. So yeah, go for him.
But yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, they don't show anything, which I appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah.
They used
Yeah.
the blood to cover everything up, which I thought was kind of visually cool.
Yeah. But I just didn't want to.
Just like the knowledge of her.
And plus, it's
like something about
it's
it
rated
just
R,
is too
so I
much to
appreciate
me.
them covering it up.
Yeah.
But then, Common, who is Cassian,
Yes.
shows up.
I love their
Mhm.
like first like talk together where they're like
Yeah, so
like he's
Common.
basically like, did you succeed?
Yeah,
Like,
because again, like
unfortunately.
everyone knows John Wick, so like he sees John there and is like, "You working tonight?" And he goes, "Yeah." Like, good day. And he goes, "I'm afraid so." And they just kind of stare at each other, and then they just.
yep, this giant fight scene. I wish they just would have talked because they could have like buddied up and taken down this jerk hole of her brother. Like he could have explained to her like, I didn't want to kill her. She basically killed
Which he
herself in
does
front of
when
me.
Yeah.
they get there. But so there's this whole fight scene, and then it stops because
Well-
They accidentally fall into the Continental, and like Common's like oh no, John Wick's like
because he's like, "How about you go get a drink and cool off?"
yeah, and
Mhm.
John Wick's like it's like what was
It's like
it?
bourbon, right?
Bourbon, right?
Yes.
He's like rum.
Gin, isn't
Gin,
it?
sorry. It was super cool. Like, dude, the way they use these things in
Mhm.
these movies are so unique and awesome.
I think that fight scene before it happens, before he walks in to
Yeah.
kill this woman, there's this song playing,
I
and
forgot about this.
I hated it. In the beginning of that scene, I heard that song and I was like, "This is horrendous."
Plastic Heart.
It is.
Is that what
Yeah.
it's called?
Yes, it's called
I
Plastic
love
Heart.
the song
Okay.
I listen to it in the car all the time now, but
because I play it.
yeah. But I think originally I heard the song and it was like, it just like something about it felt like screeching in my ears.
Okay.
But now, like at the end of that scene, the song is still playing and it's so fitting.
yeah.
And I think I just like it needed to get there. But I really appreciate
And
the
again,
song
at the
choice
end,
because
we'll
it
get
isn't
to
the best in the beginning, but it pans out so well in the end and it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Also, what I'm noticing about us talking about this movie, we're not gushing about the action like we were in the first one. Now we're just talking about characters and the moments between them,
Well,
which I
and
think
again,
this movie is so awesome.
Like you talk about like
Exactly.
sequels, like that's what sequels should do.
They also
you
like
should
to
take
deep in the
you
characters.
should take what we love and you should make us love it more and
Yeah.
give us more information on it. And this it does it so well.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But we will get to my favorite scene in the entire movie soon. I'm so excited to talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to know what your favorite scene is.
We're gonna stay
I'm
here
sure you know.
for a second
Okay.
because the next slide is confusing until we get there.
Okay.
Okay.
So then we find out Antonio's true motives,
Right.
which is so now I'm at the high table. He puts a $7 million contract on John Wick's head
Yep.
for the city of New York.
Yep.
Which means any assassin in the city gets a text alert that says, "Hey,
Is it that quick?
Yes.
yeah."
Dang.
He's like,
I
they get
didn't
a
realize
text.
this scene came out quick. No, he went to Lawrence first one before
No,
that
no,
happened.
no.
Yeah.
No,
Are
he
you sure?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there. So like he's in Rome, and then
Oh,
like
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
because he has to get safe passage back into New York, but then he's still like then we get him going through New York with multiple assassins.
Yes, this is my favorite
Trailing
scene. This is my favorite scene, by the way.
Um,
It was amazing.
Yeah, so he
Absolutely.
fights.
This action scene was
He
so
fights
awesome.
a sumo wrestler. He fights a girl in the subway with a guitar. He fights two guys together, which is a great callback to the first one. And then he fights Common again.
Yeah, because when he takes on the two guys, he uses a pencil.
Yeah, which in the
Yes.
first one he once killed 3 men in a bar with
With
a
a
pencil.
pencil.
And we get to see him kill 2 guys with a pencil.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it was awesome.
But that
was
scene,
awesome.
that whole sequence of him
Well, I
fighting
love
is
the way
great.
they edited it, though. Like, they didn't show one action scene after another. They cut in between each action scene.
Yeah.
So, like, and they kind of showed it out of order, too, because one scene you'll see him, like, he's got, like, this, like, really horrible, like, blood stain and
Yeah.
scar right here.
Next scene you won't have it.
Next scene we'll have it, and then they'll show another scene where he got that scar.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so cool the way they cut it, and, like, how they're showing, like, all these average, everyday people are, like, you know, just coming out of nowhere and attacking him, or how he just knows how some of these people are about to come after him, and he
Yeah.
just shoots them right before they even come
And
after him.
because the sumo wrestler takes like 10 bullets because of his body weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then and I think it was really cool and creative how the scene ended, and basically he went up to this homeless guy, and then it was...
He's getting chased by 2 guys.
Yeah.
And this homeless guy is just rambling nonsense, and he just walks up and puts the assassin currency
Yeah.
in his cup, and is like, "Take me to him." And then the homeless guy covers him in a tarp,
Yep.
and then kills the 2 guys that are chasing
And then
John.
we meet soon after one of my favorite characters of all time, and in this franchise,
Whoa.
the Bowery King.
Of all time.
Lawrence Fishburne's the Bowery King,
Absolutely.
Yep.
who runs the homeless network.
Yeah.
If you've seen the show Sherlock, BBC,
I've not.
Mhm.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah, it's similar to
Yeah.
that kind of because like Sherlock has eyes and ears around
Yeah.
London through homeless people because that's how he can get the information he needs.
Okay.
The Bowery King uses homeless assassin people all over the city to run the lower levels of
Yeah.
the city and pigeons.
Yeah.
And pigeons. He's the best.
And he
I
go-
love him
And
so
he goes
much.
to Lawrence Fishburne for help because he's like, listen, he's on the high table now. He's gonna want the city, and like you're gonna be done.
Mhm.
So he argues with Lawrence Fishburne, who then gives him a gun with
Seven
bullets because the contract is $7 million.
Also, I love that John Wick was able to give us a Matrix reunion 20 years later.
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Also, what I love about the scene is his character and him explaining about how he first met John Wick, and how he told him that I don't remember what he did to him, but
He's like put an artery in his throat.
right, and he said you can come after me and kill me, and then you would
Die.
or you could heal yourself or whatever. And basically saying he gave me a choice.
Yeah.
And then we see that later on when he fights Common again
Yes.
or Cassidy.
Yeah, but like before that, actually.
Did that happen before that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did. Or did it?
Yeah, because he stabs him
the
in the
subway?
chest.
That's right, because he's one of the
Yeah.
assassins on the subway.
And he's like, you pull that knife out, you'll bleed to death.
Yeah, and he gave him a choice.
Bye, and then he leaves.
Yep.
But yeah, Lawrence Fishburne does a great job in that
Yep.
role,
Yep,
and this whole
absolutely.
underground network is super cool. So then John has a gun with 7 bullets, and he's on his way to the party for D'Antonio.
Which, if you don't know,
2 of which
7
he
bullets
wastes on
for
the way there.
7 bullets for John Wick. Not that much of a problem because
No, yeah.
he'll find he'll find.
However, he uses them on the first 2 guys that try to stop him when he gets to the party. So like, there's this whole party. John just walks in, and everything stops.
Yeah, that's right.
They look at each other, and then he just starts shooting.
Yep.
And this whole action sequence of him chasing D'Antonio, there's just henchman after henchman.
Yep.
He shoots a gun, it gets empty, fights a guy, takes their gun,
Exactly.
keeps
That's right.
going.
7 bullets, not a problem.
It's great because there's one time where his gun is empty, he just chucks it straight at a guy's head.
Yeah.
Like he just, like, it's just that whole. It's so brilliant. Like it's hard to do it justice talking about it.
Yeah.
Because that scene is so long and just fantastic.
It's like the last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Really.
I believe that's when we get into. Yeah.
Not there yet.
Yeah, not there yet.
But yeah.
But that's when we get to. There's this really cool mirror scene
With him and Ruby Rose.
setting. Yeah, he gives Ruby Rose the same choice almost as well because he stabs her.
He doesn't give her the same choice though.
Well, he stabs her and he leaves. And
I think she dies. I'm pretty sure if I
No,
remember,
it never
she-
shows
It
her
doesn't show her
kills
dying. She's almost dying.
I'm pretty sure he
and
killed her though.
It cuts.
I'm almost certain he kills her.
Well, he stabs her and he walks away, and she's like, "Be seeing you," and he's like,
Yeah, she signs "Be seeing you,"
and
he
he's
says,
like, "Yeah," and then he leaves.
I thought.
But we
I
never
thought that
see
was
her
like-
actually like
Yeah,
croak.
I thought. Okay.
Well, the directors say that one of either her or Common are still alive.
I feel common.
But that
It's probably
scene,
common, but for the sake of Ruby Rose.
well, we don't know. So
Okay. Anyway, keep going. 'Cause we're
yeah,
getting into
so
some really good stuff.
so then there's just this great action sequence, and then he stops everybody, and he's to D'Antonio, but he's in the Continental.
D'Antonio escapes into the Continental.
He runs there, and he's sitting there and he's eating a meal and he's talking about it and about how there's such a long menu that he could never eat the same thing twice.
Yeah,
So he's basically saying,
I don't
can
have
stay
to
here
leave.
he's
forever.
saying, haha, I win, I'm on base, you can't tag me forever, sucker, I win.
And John Wick as
And
the
he's
coolest
so-
dude ever leads with his heart and just
Well, he's so mad, and Winston is standing there and he's like, Jonathan,
yeah.
just walk away. Like, don't, and as he's stopping him, John just shoots him. So not
Right in
only
the head.
does he break Continental rules, he does it to kill another member of the High Table
Yep.
who just took the spot of the
Yep.
person that he killed before.
Yep. This is why I love Winston, by the way. He's there for my boy. He's there for John.
Yeah, he is.
And
And
we'll get to why.
Yeah.
so then John meets Winston at this park. And Winston is explaining to him that he's excommunicado. But Winston has given him an hour.
And what people who don't know what excommunicado means, it basically means they're going to do that whole circle gang thing where they shoot you 8
Yeah,
times.
and it means you can't use the hotel, you can't use any of the
Yes.
resources for the assassins. Because the High Table has now upped the contract to 14 million, and it's worldwide.
Yep.
Yeah.
So every assassin in the world will get their text alert in 1 hour that John Wick
Or
It's
can be killed.
excommunicado.
And they'll be like, oh, I'll take that. Like, I mean, every assassin in the world, someone's gonna go for it.
Yeah.
We saw how many took it when it was just 7 million in New York.
Just in New York, yep.
So Winston then gives John a marker with his thumbprint in it and is like, if you need this, here you go. So then John has a marker, so he has a favor from Winston.
Yep.
So then I love the ending of this movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
It is my favorite thing
Absolutely.
in the world.
Yep.
So this
Absolutely.
last scene, the music is layering up. So John is walking out of the park with his dog. Winston
Yeah.
is calling in the
And that
contract.
score is
Yes.
iconic.
Tyler Bates. Shout out
Yep.
to Tyler
Nothing
Bates.
like it.
John Wick, doing John Wick, thing, just walking out of the park, and then like the music starts speeding up, and you're like,
And he's walking past
"Something's
people,
up right."
and their phones start beeping.
Yep.
And they're getting the text alerts that
Yep.
say 1 hour, John Wick excommunicado, and they're looking at him.
And
So then
John Wick just
he
starts
starts picking up
running.
the pace. So he and his dog.
Still injured.
Yeah, he's still injured from all the
From
other
the last
fights. So
fight,
he's
yeah.
running with his dog. The sun's setting. All these
Limping
people
through
are
the
getting
park.
texts. We see characters throughout the movie getting texts. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like the ones who like John Wick are like, oh boy, and the ones who like hate him are like, ooh, let's get him like now. And then the movie ends. He's got an hour. He runs into New York with the sun setting with his dog. Movie ends.
Absolutely genius ending to a movie.
It is just
It's like Empire Strikes Back level
Yeah.
ending.
so there's their running through the city, and it just
It's a beautiful.
I love the ending of that so much. But it just the way it ends sets up chapter 3
Just such a
perfectly.
It really
awesome.
does.
Which I haven't seen yet,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'm
that
very
will be-
excited to
spoilers.
see it.
Yeah, that will be
Very
reviewed
excited.
very soon.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm very excited for Chris to see that and to film a review for that.
And I've
I'm
heard
very
that
excited to know what you think
they've
about it.
already announced John Wick Chapter 4, so
Heck yeah.
apparently
they
things
have.
will get resolved. Anyway,
yeah.
I think,
Let's just
in
general
all
thoughts.
honesty, my favorite thing about this movie just might be the scores. Because I can appreciate the action from both movies and I can appreciate the depth from both movies, especially this one. But I think the music for this movie in particular, I'm not like a huge cinemaphile, and I'm definitely not
I'm scores.
a huge like music person
You
in
are.
movies, but I think this goes above and beyond and definitely is
Tyler
noticeable.
Bates, brilliant composer.
Absolutely.
He has done all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think out of the trilogy, not that Parabellum score is bad. I love that
Yeah.
score. But this one
Has a
is
beautiful
my favorite.
score.
I love it so much. Yeah. So do we want to do general thoughts on John Wick Chapter 2, Chris?
yeah, my general thoughts is I know we didn't talk a lot about the action in this, but that being said, the action in this movie is even
A+.
better than the action in the first movie, which I didn't think was possible. This movie is John Wick 1, but better in almost every sense of the word. The characters are much more fleshed out and better. They get you feeling things much more intensely than you did in the first one. And the first one's a really good movie. And just, it's probably one of my favorite sequels ever. I mean, obviously, like, Empire Strikes Back is, like, probably my favorite sequel of all time. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is one of my favorites. We'll one day review that.
Can't remember.
Anyway,
nothing.
overall, it is a really good action film. If you're into action films, I
Mhm.
cannot recommend these two movies highly enough.
Absolutely.
Or if you love Keanu, see this movie.
Anything to add?
I think Chris said it all. This is absolutely one of my favorite franchises and one of just my favorite two movies that I've ever seen in my life. And I think they do a better job than almost anything I've ever seen of continuity, of character depth, of well thought out and choreographed scenes. Realism. Absolute realism. And just a world that I didn't think I was going to enjoy it that much.
Right.
When you explained it to me, even then I was like, oh, it sounds cool, but it's probably not
Yeah, I
something
was
I'm going to
talking
be
to you. I
into.
was like, you'll love the action, but the world. And you were like, huh?
And I was like,
It's
it
confusing,
sounds...
especially for an action movie.
Yeah, like it didn't sound that appealing to me, and looking at it now and knowing what I know from those two movies, I'm absolutely in love with it, and I'm willing to watch absolutely anything and everything that comes from this franchise.
And it's so weird though too, because like this seems like a cash grab. This
It
seems like
really
a mile
does.
away. You say he did his thing. He did what he had to do in this
Mhm.
first one. It's done.
Absolutely.
He doesn't need to do anything else. But they do such a good job of saying no. There's still more to do in this.
And
world.
then they end it perfectly for
Mhm.
there to be
More.
another one.
which I am okay with. But
But-
I want more.
Well, yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't like the third one was not made to be a cash grab. It was, we've left the story here because we're going to tell more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love these movies with all my heart. I would recommend, if you have not seen these movies,
Absolutely see them as soon as possible.
let's go right into the ratings, Catherine. Chapter 2.
Absolute 10 out of 10. See it on opening night. It was and has been an incredible influence in terms of like me judging action movies that I'm seeing now, especially because I'm just now getting into like major cinema and like mainstream cinema. I think this is a very, very good movie to like cleanse your palate.
Chris.
Man, it's hard because like when I came into this, I was like thinking, yeah, I'm gonna give it a see it opening weekend. But talking about it with you guys and just looking at these photos, I think
There's so much like attention to detail. There's,
yeah, it's very good. I'm having a hard time thinking of like any nitpicks I had because I remember I saw it very late at night, like
Mhm.
12 o'clock to
Well,
2.
even seeing the first one for me, I like just talking about it made me realize
How good
again
it is, yeah.
how good it was to me and how
Um,
much it made me feel.
Like, I will watch these probably tomorrow now.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it makes me want to go watch them again. So that being said, I will give it a see it opening night.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I will also give it a 10 and see it opening night. And I want to stress enough that if you are watching this and you have not seen them, or even if you have seen them, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum came out on May 17th. You need to go see it.
Absolutely.
If you love these.
You really should.
Like, it's just... It's something like
Chris has not seen it yet.
like I'm sure like I didn't see the first one in theaters. And
I
like
didn't see either of these in theaters.
Well, and looking back now, seeing the parallels in plotline between 1, 2, and 3 makes so much sense to me now sitting down and talking about them.
yeah, which I hate to stop you because I know we
No.
have so much to say
No.
on that, but we will be doing a review of Parabellum
Yes.
very soon. So you gotta go see it. Like
Absolutely do
if
go
you
see
if
it.
you love these, the third one will not disappoint.
It will not.
I remember asking you, like, after you went and saw it, I was like, what did you think? And you went, it's not my favorite. I was like,
It is
Ugh.
still not my favorite, and it is still not what I expected, but I absolutely, even now, looking back on it, it is something I can genuinely appreciate so much as part of
I
this
cannot
franchise.
explain to you why.
I can't either.
But I needed to sit with it for a bit.
Yeah,
okay.
And you will
definitely.
see why.
It was something that you have to, like, digest and think about. And we will have to do another, like, sit down and let's talk about 1, 2, and 3 collectively before we do the third review, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will probably have to refresh, and we will do trilogy overall talk in the third review as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But that is what we have. John Wick 1 and John Wick Chapter 2. Thank you guys for tuning in to Cinema Gibberish. If you like what we do here, we do other things on
We do.
this channel.
Occasionally.
We do a podcast every Monday, comes out. That will be linked in the description below.
Sometimes
As well.
we're on it, sometimes we're not. Just
Who
depends.
knows?
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
I am
Nobody.
most of the time, but don't worry.
Yeah.
Nobody knows until the night before, I promise.
No, I am on it every time because I do the thing.
Because
He
JD
is the
Studios.
hostess. He is the host.
He is the JD.
The podcast.
Uh-huh.
And I am the dedicated host of this show, except for the John Wick
Yeah.
episodes.
Except for the John Wick episodes and
This
maybe
man
some
is a
future
loyal
things.
John Wick fan who got us both into it, so he deserves to host these.
He
I
got
am
all three of
the-
us into it.
Big thanks to Chris for allowing me to take
Yeah.
this
On the only second episode.
Yeah. But our social media is also linked below. We are at JD Studios 208 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can use that to stay up to date on everything that we do. We are going to be doing a lot of these, so if you like these, look out. They are coming.
They're
lots
coming
of
in
them.
hot. Lots of them.
Because
One after the other.
'cause
Oh, yeah.
we have no lives between the three of us.
Nah, absolutely none.
Yeah. So
We love movies.
Yeah.
Because we have time for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So once again, just thank you guys for watching, and we will see you very soon.
Bye.
See ya.